So today we go to the ballot box. The time right now is 2 o'clock in the United Kingdom in the morning, and in a few hours' time the ballot boxes will open. We're talking about the election, and if you're still undecided who you should be voting for, if you're religious, who you should be voting for, if you are Anglican, who I personally think, as an Anglican, who I'm called to vote for. We're talking about the election here on Around the World Today, here on Podcasts by Real Terrier Radio.
Podcasts brought to you by Real Terrier Radio. Around the World Today here on Real Terrier Radio.
This is the world we live in. This is the world we call our own. This is the time, and times are changing. This is the world we call our home. Feel the freedom. There's no limit to what we can do.
So it's the general election in the UK, and welcome to Around the World Today here on Real Terrier Radio Podcasts. Where do we start? 52 days ago we started this election journey together, and 52 days later we're still here and we're about to go and vote. But hey, who are we? May I remind you that under the Conservatives, we have cut our police under all of the Conservative plans, all they want to do is take us back to 2010. So, what was the point of the last 10 years of austerity? What was the point of cutting services to the bone for the rich, cutting services to the bone, giving tax breaks to the ultra-rich? What was this? What the Prime Minister and the Conservatives are actually offering is to take us back to what we were before they came into power. So if that's the case, every election that we've had, really, there was no point of voting Conservative, because we should have just voted Labour. We would have got rid of austerity a lot quicker. Me as a Christian, I believe that I can't morally vote for a man, firstly, who doesn't admit to the amount of children that he has. My mum was a single mum. Yeah. So my mum, who I love, I don't know, like anyone. My mum gave me life. But my mum actually had to be my dad, my mum, when I was growing up. Boris Johnson has criticised single mothers in the 90s, at a time when my mum was a single mum, bringing up a child on her own. And I've talked about this before. And I morally can't vote for a person who says that a woman wearing a piece of clothing that she identifies to be religious, even if I'm not following that faith and I follow a different faith, I understand the symbolism of what they're trying to do in their religion, and all of those women who wear burqas are trying to do is praise God in their way, and their way is to cover up. Who are we to tell them that they can't praise God in their way? The moment this would happen to a bunch of Christians in the UK, there would be uproar. If you want to talk about persecution of religion, should we talk about the Christians around the world that are being persecuted at this moment in time? It's not only Muslim people or Jewish people being persecuted, it's religion in general that's being persecuted. I morally can't vote for a man whose party has systematically wielded the knife over institutions of this country for cuts to their budgets, so they're unworkable. I morally can't vote for a person who could go to Buckingham Palace and lie. Yeah, lie to the head of state. It doesn't matter if you're a royalist or a non-royalist. The Queen is still our head of state. So, Donald Trump is the head of state of America. I would have big problems if someone from the government, from a department in America, went to the President of the United States, even if you don't respect him, and lied to him about a matter of state. You don't do that. The head of state of a country is your first citizen. If you can lie to your head of state, you can lie to the rest of the citizens in the country. So that's what Boris Johnson has done. He lied to the Queen, so that means he can lie to us. I morally can't vote for a bunch of upper crust people who have presided over the increase in homelessness, the increased use of food banks, the increased cut of social services and community services such as play workers, such as community police, even police. Police have a community responsibility. When was the last time that any of you saw your community police officers? Do you know what I mean? And they were actually proper police officers. I can't support a group of people who would play one side off another side and keep the country split. I morally can't vote for a person or a party that have done all of these things. Should we talk about how good the Conservatives are at deals? Well, one deal in particular has come into my mind, and it's the Munich Agreement. Bit of a history lesson here, people. Go and Google the Munich Agreement. You might find out that the Conservatives are really bad at deals. Then, I'm remembered of the 1979 Defence Forces cuts made under the Conservative government. I'm also remembered in 1982 that because of these cuts that Margaret Thatcher's government made, that Boris Johnson supported Margaret Thatcher, theoretically it caused this country to go to war and have to take back a group of islands that we left undefended because of the defence cuts. Then 2 years after giving this, after this war, it was decided by the same government and the same political party that we've just fought a war in the Falklands, in the Atlantic Ocean, but when it came to the Pacific and Hong Kong, we weren't going to ask the people of Hong Kong what they wanted. But they were the same as the people of the Falklands. They were British people. They have this right to self-determination according to the United Nations Charter. I have a big problem with people who are complaining about laws. The fact is, in the UK, the party that's in power are the ones who look after the laws. So it doesn't matter if the law was conceived under the Labour Party. If the Conservatives are the one in power, they are the ones who uphold the law and look after the law. So if the law becomes unworkable in any way, It's up to the ruling party to amend or change the law to make it workable. If the ruling party can't do that because the opposition are making them do that, you've got to ask yourself, have we got the wrong party in government? The opposition's job is to put up an opposition to the government's policies and to ask questions. To people who keep saying that Jeremy Corbyn is bad at opposition, may I remind you, look where we are. If he is bad at opposition, I'm the Queen, because we are at a general election. We have the right to self-determination. We have the right to change our government. I personally believe that Her Majesty should, if she's given the choice of Boris Johnson, call him and order for his immediate arrest, and then just reopen the election. Do you know what I mean? A new election after Christmas. But people say it annoys them. And I agree with views that Terry Begley, I don't agree with all of them, but if you go to our website, you'll be able to read them. But I agree with Terry Begley's views about manifestos. And they do always change. I personally think the first piece of legislation that you should put in as a government when you've been elected is your manifesto. Your manifesto should become law. And there should be a tariff of 80% of your manifesto that you have to complete, or you break the law. And you're the ones who should go back to the British people and say, you know, we didn't do this. It doesn't feel like a general election this year at all. It doesn't feel like a day to me that we're going to vote. It just feels like a normal day. What's quite sad, the fact that, you know, we are at an election and we are meant to be voting today, but we are not. Really, I don't know, are we going to see change? This would be interesting. Why isn't this... Sorry, my computer is playing up and I'm doing other stuff, but it's going to be an interesting day. We will have the live updates on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, and all over the place this evening from about 11 PM. But the bit I'm worried about is not a hung parliament, because that can be taken care of. It's a man who keeps saying, let's get Brexit done. But it's been proven that you can't get Brexit done for another 5 to 10 years. Okay, so Greenland left the European Economic Authority or area. Before the EU, they had full alignment with the EEA or the EEC. They left. It took them a further 5 years, even with full alignment, to do a deal. And that was before the political side of the EU. So, can you imagine how long it's going to take now? We haven't changed much. If anything, we've got more bureaucratic. So there's more bureaucracy there, so it's going to take longer. Canada, it took them nearly 10 years to negotiate their deal, and they're on full alignment with us because they're in the Commonwealth. So if they're on full alignment with us, they're on full alignment with the EU. Hello? My question is, are they crazy? Do you know what I mean? Get Brexit done. You can't get Brexit done at this moment in time. Because it just is a lie. You want to start Brexit? We're not going to get Brexit done, though. I personally think if you are going out to vote today, or in any election around the world, when you're voting, the things that you should do is keep a clear and open mind right up until when you're walking into the booth. Firstly, because anything could happen. For all we know, I could go sleep in an hour or two, wake up, this country could be at war. You know, things happen. You need to keep an open mind. Back to my morals and why I can't vote for this government. A lot has been made about that 4-year-old boy in the hospital. Who would use a sick 4-year-old boy and say that his mum is lying? To you parents out there, could you lie if your child is ill and you've had to go to hospital about something like that? Because I know you can't. No parent in their right mind could. Considering the hospital has already admitted to it, you would have asked, why these right-wing people feel it's fine to lie, basically. But it's like they publish one thing and then they keep publishing it over and over again, and they think that people don't notice because one person will publish it on a post and then another person would publish the exact same thing. They think that we are stupid. But if you read the comments, you see at least a few of the same comments being posted by multiple different platforms that all have been sharing Boris Johnson stuff. Ask yourself, why hasn't the Electoral Commission or the government at the end of the last general election made it tougher for social media advertising for elections? This government didn't release a report when they were meant to, 2 days before Purda, that about Russian interference in the last election and the Brexit added to the Conservative Party. Make what you want of that. Did you know that Dominic Cummings used to own an airline or set up an airline in Russia at a time when the only airline in Russia was a state-owned entity and could only be the state-owned entity? He is very good friends with Vladimir Putin. Make of that what you want. What's even quite more astonishing, should an American citizen, someone who was born in America, be running to be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom for the Conservative Party? Say what you want. The only reason Boris Johnson is British is because his father was British. He's not British by birth, like you, like I am. I'm British by birth. I was born in the United Kingdom. He was born in the United States. I am British by birth, where he is British by citizenship. Just because his father was British. And this goes back to a time when, if your father was British, you could become British. I'm not sure if it was the same if your mother was British, because the woman takes the husband's, do you know what I mean? Name, family, jurisdiction and citizenship. But if the man was the British, then their sons, anyone born across the world, can become British. So Boris isn't British by birth. Don't let the tricks and the bravado, trick you. Because that's what Doris wants. Now, people say that Corbyn's a spy and Corbyn's this and Corbyn's that, but he's the lesser of two evils. Do we really need a country that's so divided now? So split. There's even families divided and split by this whole saga. It's been 3 years. It's time to heal. Yes, I don't agree with Corbyn's second referendum and having Remain on the ballot. I personally believe that Remain shouldn't be anywhere near the ballot, but hey, he's not legislating for it right now, and the legislation can change. So if Parliament wanted to, they could change the bit about Remain being on the ballot. Do you know what I mean? People seem to forget that all of this stuff that they want to do will have to go through Parliament and will have to be voted on, and the party with a majority wins. But you are able to do deals to scupper stuff. Yeah, we won't be putting that picture up. I also find it quite appalling that media organisations, instead of giving a biased view, so there's one in particular called the Daily Express that says, vote Conservative today. Now, at the end of the day, it's the media's job to stay away from politics and to give an unbiased view. Not to go publicising the fact that you should go and vote for the party that's going to give your owners the biggest tax cut. You know, here at Real Terry, me and both Terry Begley and myself have different views on politics, even left and right, even we're at odds with the Brexit policy. But the one thing that we try and do is, although we give you our opinions, we try and give you an unbiased opinion. And it's something that I set out at Real Terry when we started it, because we wanted to be unbiased. We didn't want you... We don't want you here to feel like we're telling you how that you should vote and stuff. And if you look at my Facebook Real Terrio account and Terry's Real Terrio account, there is great similarities, great differences. Terry's been publicising for the right, where I'm publicising for the left, and, you know, saving our NHS. So, you know, what can we do? It's a sad time when you have to think like this. And this is how I think about the election. What is best for me? What's best for my family? What is best for the area I live in? What's best for my friends? What's best, you know, for the people I know? And that's how I vote. I look at the manifestos. I take them with a pinch of salt. I look at the campaign. And then I go to a place called the Phoenix Centre, give my card over, I vote. And then I'm done. Then I wait till 11 o'clock and I do the live posting. But remember, people have died to give you the right to vote. Women didn't used to have the right to vote. Working class people didn't used to have the right to vote. People before you have died to give you that vote that you will have today. So use it. Use it wisely. And remember, because I'm going to cut it short now, remember to just vote. If it's your first time voting, welcome to the club. The rest of your life, every 5 years, you're going to have to vote. And I know it doesn't seem like that because we only voted 2 years ago. Who would have thought we'd probably have an election in 2 years' time now? I think 6 months, but, you know. But remember, use your vote wisely. Teach your children about voting as well. It's very important that we teach our children to vote. It's very important we teach our children how to look at manifestos. How to actually know when a politician is lying. How to judge. You know, how to use their judgment when it comes to political organisations and political lies. We really should be teaching our children. They are our future, and they're going to be tomorrow. Now, back to Boris Johnson. What he doesn't get is, as a Christian, to me, children are everything. They are our everything. They're our future. So our race, our hopes, dreams, aspirations all continue through our children, through the children of tomorrow. Just like with us, we are our parents' hopes, dreams, aspirations. How can you not know how many children you have? You obviously don't play a big enough part into your children's lives if you don't know how many you've got. So, you've been listening to Around the World Today here on Real Terrio Radio Podcasts. Do check out our website, realterrio.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search for Real Terrio. And I will see you for our election special during the count tonight, and again on Friday the 13th at 10 p.m. with talking over the results of the election. We could have a new government, we could have a hung government, we may not even have a government at all. But, you know, we're going to look into it. Remember, use your vote wisely. If you are a Christian, if you are Muslim, you need to think about what your church's teachings are telling you. If you're any religion, think about what your religion is teaching you. No religion in the world says that you should vote for a party that gives tax credits to billionaires. No religion in the world says that you should be voting for a party that would rather cut services to the vulnerable and the needy. For me, it's what would Jesus do? That's all to it. So once again, thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. Adios.
Podcasts brought to you by Real Terrio Radio. Around the world today here on Real Terrio Radio.